I was sitting in a quiet coffee shop watching a live video feed on my phone as my own daughter tried to break into my home. She had several people with her and three massive suitcases, fully expecting her old emergency key to work. She did not know that I had silently locked her out of my life just a few days prior. My name is Helen Vance, and I have owned my beautiful downtown condominium in Portland for over 3 decades. It took me 30 long years of hard work to fully pay off this property after my painful divorce. My daughter Sienna never understood the sacrifices I made to secure this peaceful sanctuary for myself. Sienna always had a habit of overstepping boundaries, but she usually backed down when I pushed back. Her husband Julian had very wealthy parents from Seattle who visited them a few times a year. Sienna was constantly trying to make her life look incredibly successful and organized whenever her mother-in-law came to visit. The trouble began on a Friday afternoon while I was standing in the grocery store picking out fresh produce. My phone vibrated with a message from Sienna, stating that they needed my apartment because her in-laws were visiting. The next message told me that I could stay at a cheap hotel near the local airport. I read the blunt demand several times because I could not believe her sheer entitlement. It was not a polite request, but rather a decision she expected me to blindly follow. I replied that I was not home this weekend, hoping that simple statement would end the matter entirely without any further drama. Sienna answered instantly saying that it was perfect because she still had her old spare key. I did not respond because I wanted her to realize on her own that my home was not her personal hotel. Just 1 week earlier, I had walked into my kitchen and found a complete stranger fixing my electrical outlets. The repairman told me that Sienna had given him my key to enter my home while I was away. That terrifying intrusion made me feel completely unsafe in the one place where I should feel secure. The very next day, a professional locksmith installed a high-tech digital deadbolt and a doorbell camera. I did not tell Sienna about the lock change because I wanted to avoid her dramatic arguments. Months earlier, during a family dinner, Sienna had boasted to her mother-in-law that they frequently used my downtown condo. Julian had warned her to ask me first, but Sienna insisted that I would never embarrass her. On Saturday afternoon, I was enjoying lunch with a close friend when my phone sent an alert. The motion sensor outside my door detected a large group of people waiting in the hallway. I opened the live camera feed and saw Sienna, Julian, his parents, his brother, and two children carrying heavy luggage. I watched as Sienna pulled out her old key and confidently inserted it into the lower lock. The handle turned smoothly, but the heavy deadbolt did not budge at all. Julian asked if she had actually cleared this with me first, but she brushed him off and claimed the lock was simply stuck. The hallway grew incredibly tense as the minutes ticked by, and my family remained stranded outside. Sienna kept throwing desperate glances at my small security camera, while her mother-in-law watched with crossed arms. Julian examined the handle and pointed out that the lock was turning perfectly, which meant something else was holding the door. A neighbor briefly opened their door, stared at the massive pile of suitcases, and quickly retreated inside. The sheer embarrassment in the corridor was palpable as Julian pleaded with Sienna to just call me. Sienna refused, kicking my front door in frustration and shouting that the mechanism was jammed. Using my phone, I took 2 clear screenshots of Sienna arguing and aggressively kicking my door. Suddenly, a message popped up in our extended family group chat where Sienna claimed I had locked her out. She was trying to publicly shame me so that the entire family would take her side. I decided that the truth needed to be seen rather than argued in private. I uploaded the screenshots of her violent behavior directly to the family group chat with a single sentence asking them to leave. The group chat went completely silent as my relatives finally saw the reality of her actions. I then drafted a formal email to my building management office about an unauthorized attempted entry. I attached the security photos and explained that a disruptive group was trying to force open my door. 10 minutes later, a security guard and the building supervisor arrived in the hallway to intervene. The supervisor informed Sienna that the homeowner had confirmed no one was permitted inside the apartment. Julian immediately recognized the defeat and told his wife that they needed to find a hotel. The security guard politely escorted the embarrassed family down the hall toward the elevator. Before stepping into the elevator, Sienna glared directly at my camera and yelled that this would look terrible to her in-laws. I activated the speaker and told her that if her marriage depended on my apartment, she had much bigger problems. They stepped into the elevator in complete silence. When I returned home that evening, the hallway was perfectly quiet and peaceful. I changed my digital codes, deleted all old access settings, and formally blocked the number of Sienna for the time being. I sat down in my quiet living room and finally felt like my home belonged entirely to me. Sometimes you have to set incredibly difficult boundaries to protect your own peace of mind. If you agree that I handled this situation correctly, please subscribe to the channel right now for more powerful real-life stories. Thank you for listening to my journey today.